listening to Pipebomb Radio.
What?
With your hosts, Felix Olmedo and Austin James.
This voice, this is power. In anybody else's hands, this is a microphone. In my hands, it's a pipe bomb. It's showtime! Woo!
Good evening. Welcome back, everybody. It's Tuesday night. It's time to get your fill of Pipebomb Radio. And, you know, it feels like every week now, it seems like it's such a long time between each show. I don't know what you think. What do you think?
Seriously? No,
I think
it
just seems like it's been like months since
too
we've been on the
quickly.
air again, you know?
Oh, my God, no. It just comes way too quickly. It's just Tuesday. We can go on for days.
You sound like one of them television salesmen on TV. Sunday. Anyway.
1995 with a. That's how most of the things on TV cost $19.95 plus shipping and handling. And then like 5 minutes later, you're gonna get something free with that also. And then 2 minutes later, and if you do this, you're gonna get this for. And then I'm not interested after that.
You know, you weren't even born in that time, and that makes me laugh that you would actually say that, because that would be something that would have been probably done in the early 90s, maybe late 80s. But anyways, let's talk about our guest tonight. I actually got to listen to one of his most recent interviews. Very, very well done. I actually enjoyed it. Tell us a little bit about our guest tonight, Austin.
Well, our guest tonight is from, he wrestled in one of the most revolutionary companies in the history of professional wrestling, ECW, and ECW it made up a new style of I'm not gonna say a new style of wrestling, but there's already death matches and just extreme wrestling beforehand. But this brought in a new flavor, and I don't think if it wasn't for ECW, I don't think there would be an attitude era. It wouldn't. WWE wouldn't have got that edge, if it wasn't for ECW and getting that idea kind of off of them. And Angel was when he was in ECW. He had this tag team, a stable known as the Baldies, comprised of also Tony DeVito, Vic Grimes, and Red Dog, who actually feuded with New Jack for a while, and cannot wait to talk to him about
New
that.
Jack was no joke. That dude was just a lunatic back in that day.
He is crazy.
He's still crazy now. He still gets on there and argues with fans on Facebook. And then again, he probably makes most of them cry too. Hell, I don't know. Depending on how old they are. But
he did a job.
I enjoyed his interview that he did most recently. We thought definitely. Well, actually, I have to give kudos to Austin. He jumped on this one as soon as he had the chance, and it'd be our honor to go ahead and speak with him. Just fill me in, partner. Are we calling him or is he calling in?
He's supposed to be calling us.
Okay, just want to make sure.
And I mean, like you were saying, when I actually listened to one of his recent interviews, I'm like, this guy is awesome. He knows so much, and it was so just interesting listening to him. And I'm like, we have to get on. And just like, a few hours later, I'm like, Angel, you want to come on Pipebomb Radio today? And Tuesday, this is a couple weeks ago. And then he's like, of course. And I'm like, we're so happy because he is just. If you listen to the interview, he's awesome. He really is. And there's a situation that happened a few weeks ago, maybe last week, with the Home Truck Hardcore Road Trip scenario, where the promoter basically left and didn't pay the wrestlers yet. The wrestlers actually finished up the show and gave the fans what they came for. So then that was really awesome to do. And maybe you wouldn't have thought wrestlers, they wouldn't have done that without getting paid, but they did it. They did it with open heart.
And you know what? I need you to check your message here really quick because I sent you something here I'm not going to mention on air. But
okay, let's not say to mention it on air. Okay,
well, I didn't know how else to tell you. Be like, excuse me, look at your messages. I didn't want to mumble it under my breath, but need you to take a peek here. And while we do that, while you're doing that, we'll talk about it a little bit briefly, just quickly. Huh?
Well, you basically said the same exact question you asked about 2 minutes ago. Is he calling us? Well, he is. He said he's supposed to be calling us. Let me see.
I did, didn't I? Well, here's the thing. I don't know what area code he's calling from. That's the problem.
I'm not sure either.
I don't want to sound unprepared, but damn it, I don't know what area code he's calling from. So, is that bad? I guess it's kind of bad. Well, you know what? We have a caller calling in. I'm hoping that is him. If not, I do apologize. God, this is horrible. Okay, this is all my bad.
No, it's not horrible.
Well, we'll find out right now. Hello? You're on the air with Felix and Austin?
Yeah, this is not Angel. It's Chris Gary from Fever Keeps It Real. I was hoping to ask a question.
Chris. Just kidding.
I was hoping to ask a question to Angel when he comes on.
Well, as soon as we get him on here, we will definitely put you on to ask him a question. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay, dudes. Y'all can put me back on music.
Oh, my goodness. That was horrible. Sorry to our listener here, our listeners. We will get him on here in just a bit. He should be calling in here, as Austin said. And rather than keep it hidden, I'll be honest, I didn't know what area code he'd be calling from, since he's calling from, I'm sure, the East Coast.
It's going to be a surprise.
Apparently. But while we wait, let's chat first for just a little bit. What did you think about Extreme Rules, Monday Night Raw? Talk a little bit about that real quick. Thoughts?
Extreme Rules this past Sunday, I think, I think they had some high moments in the show, and there were some low ones too, but I mean, for the most part, the pay-per-view was actually really entertaining. I mean, the main event between Daniel Bryan and Kane, the first time in, I think, 10 years, at least a decade, that we've seen a flaming table in the WWE production. I haven't seen that in a while. I'm like, what? Is that familiar to me? I'm like, yes, it is.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Even 10 years? Well, let's see. I think the last time, and correct me if I'm wrong, folks, because I know most of you guys will. If Austin knows, he will too. The last time that I can recall a flaming table would have been WrestleMania 22 in Chicago, Mick Foley Edge, and that was 2006.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, Edge and Mick Foley. So, I mean, well, maybe not a decade, but close to a decade. Jesus.
I'm just saying, I'm just going to go on with what you just said there to remember, because coincidentally, I was there in Chicago. Yes, I'm bragging.
Mm-hmm. Good. I was out of the WrestleMania 30.
As you were talking about briefly, and I think you reminded also, we'll go back to that in just a second. But as far as the table, but I wanted to ask you, what did you think of? What would you say would have been the match of the night?
The match of the night, I think, if you're looking at it, I look at it from two different perspectives. I think the match of the night would be Shield versus Evolution. For reason being, it was just one hell of a match. It was everywhere. And then you have Daniel Bryan versus Kane, which was also everywhere you can think of. But it was more. I think that match was like Daniel really couldn't. In the entire storyline, I guess they're doing. He's supposed to be hurt, so he couldn't really do much. He couldn't fend for himself, so he had to resort to using the most dreadful forms of injuring or attempting to injure Kane, which we've seen for the past 2 days that evidently is not working at all, because he gets hit by a car, he just sits back up like nothing happened, and he gets
hit by a big old wrench. Mm-hmm.
So he's doing a lot. Kane keeps on coming, so obviously it's not the end of this thing. I think Kane's really out for Daniel Bryan right now.
Well, there had been rumors going, and we'll obviously see as time goes on, that they were planning for a match between Batista and Daniel at Payback, and that doesn't work out, that they may have a Buried Alive match. I think that would be interesting, considering the fact that it's not involving Undertaker. Usually the majority of the Buried Alive matches that I can recall have always involved him in some form or fashion.
Hey, I mean, we haven't seen the Buried Alive match.
Interesting to see if that actually does follow through and where it goes from there.
The last Buried Alive match we've actually seen was between Kane and The Undertaker at Survivor Series in 2010.
No, that was Hell in a Cell. No, was it Hell in a Cell? Yeah, it was Hell in a Cell.
Wait, then what I'm thinking is who is it I'm thinking about? I know there was a Buried Alive match with Kane was in it. I'm
that was 2003 when he sided with McMahon and
No, I'm talking about a casket match. Recently, I'm talking about 2010. At least it's one of Survivor Series. I'm damn sure they had a casket match.
I thought we were still talking about the damn
match, the Buried Alive match.
Buried alive match. You're thinking of a casket match. How the hell are you going to confuse the two? Come on now.
No, I know. I mean a buried alive match. I'm pretty sure at Survivor Series 2010 they had a buried alive match. And I know Kane was in it. It was Kane,
wasn't
maybe
that Survivor
Kane
Series?
and Edge. It was a Survivor Series. Hold on.
It must have been between those two because it was the casket match was probably at that one, but not the buried alive. Remember, it was the Undertaker that was buried alive at the 2010. I believe it was Hell in a Cell. I promise you that. Now, the next feud would have been Edge, absolutely, and they may have had a casket match or possibly even a buried alive one again. But I know that Undertaker had one as well.
Okay, I was right. It wasn't at Survivor Series. It was actually at Bragging Rights between.
Okay, we were both wrong. It was the original name they had for it.
Well, no, hey, I was right. I knew that there was a buried alive match in 2010, and it was between Kane and the Undertaker, which I knew. See, I was right. I wasn't entirely right. No, I didn't. I actually reversed what you just said. I actually said the Undertaker the first time.
Now you're trying to
okay?
confuse me, huh?
With that.
No. See, you're changing your answer. You're trying to be sneaky. Not gonna work.
I didn't change anything. You're changing things. You just confused me. You said it was Edge the first time. I'm going with Undertaker and Kane.
Excuse you.
That was 2010.
I never mentioned Edge. You're the one that brought him up. I said Undertaker and Kane had that last buried alive match in 2010. I said that, and if you don't believe me, then you can listen back to the show later. Thank you.
Okay.
Now, going back to Monday Night Raw, the debut of Adam Rose.
Yes, Felix, don't be a lemon, be a rosebud.
Be a rosebud.
And remember with Adam Rose, it's party time all the time. Seriously, all the time. Even right now, it's party time. We don't even have confetti. It's still party time. It's connected. It's a whole entire world now. It's in this amazing, just exotic express that Adam Rose just brings to the table. It's pretty amazing.
I was actually hoping that he would actually debut in a match, but I guess they're saving him, huh?
You know, I think he's actually trying to, in this feud, Jack Swagger kind of escalated on main event. So,
I find it odd that maybe, but then again, maybe the fans was it Full Sail? Are a unique type of fans that are used to the NXT entertainment, because when they came out there, it's almost like he didn't get much of a reaction.
Well, let's say the thing about you have to expect that they're trying to take it slow with the fans that might not have been exposed to NXT. And there's a group of fans that
I'll give you that much, because if you think about Bray Wyatt, when the Wyatts debuted, it kind of they had a long anticipated, and then it was all anticipated and people were waiting for it. You have
to think about that they have vignettes going for at least 3 months before he even debuted. With Adam Rose, it's only been about a month and a half of those, little just videos playing between the commercials, and not much. I mean, I think it's for Adam Rose at least. It was a pretty good build up for him to make his debut. But I mean, they're taking us slow right now in between the stage and trying to get people to know who Adam Rose is and what he's about.
Well. Do you expect big things for him?
Absolutely. I expected big things with him with Leo Kruger until they're like, no, man, we don't want you with Leo Kruger, so we're going to put you as a guy who's resembling, what's his name, Russell Brand from Get Him to the Greek, and guys who's listening. If you go back to that actual movie, it's not a mirror image. Obviously, nobody looks like Russell Brand, and thank God for that. But I mean, the actual acting and stuff like that is just mirror images, I don't
know why I thought maybe he reminded me more of an Austin Powers, but maybe just because I'm old. I don't know. I'm older than you.
There's no way it's Austin Powers.
Oh, whatever. I don't know how it came into my mind of that, but hey, it is what it is. They continued, and one thing I did want to touch on before our guest calls in. Coincidentally, we knew who. I didn't know right away. I was telling myself, and I was also telling another friend of mine on Facebook. I know that kid. That kid looks so freaking familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't picture it. I couldn't put my finger on it. And then I went over to one of our former guests, Jameson, from the WWF days in the 1980s. Coincidentally, that is the son of Jameson, who was there as Little Johnny. That was a trip.
Well, I mean, not only that, when I seen it this afternoon, I'm like, oh my God, I knew, like that was somebody I had my eyes on beforehand, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's Jameson's kid. I'm like, that's crazy. And supposedly he actually booked himself in WWE, to actually bring him on to Extreme Rules, which is pretty amazing for a 7-year-old, 7-8-year-old to do by himself.
That young man's got his head on straight, and he knows what he wants to do with his life, and you can't go wrong with that. And I know Jameson's a proud daddy.
Well, I mean, you have to see that he was in a commercial that played during the Super Bowl with Cam Newton, who's I don't watch football, but I think he's probably one of the most popular football players right now, and he was actually featured Jameson's kid on an actual commercial with him.
Huh. Now that I didn't know. I don't actually watch the Super Bowl, so I don't really care. So.
Me either.
But you probably are the ones that watch for the commercials, right?
No way. I don't even watch the commercials. I just see people put it on Facebook the day after, then I'll watch them and see if they're cool. But I do not stick around for commercials. It's just, oh my God. I stick around for the food, though. That's another story. There's always a ton of food at Super Bowl.
Well, I can't lie, because I know with the Super Bowl commercial, actually it was this year, because I talked about it a little bit. It was, and I even posted, was the Radio Shack one when they reverted back to the 80s and they saw all these 80s characters, and you saw the Gremlin, Gizmo, you saw Sergeant Slaughter, Hulk Hogan, the DeLorean from Back to the Future. I actually liked that commercial.
Oh yeah, the one with the Radio Shack.
Yeah.
That was the Radio Shack commercial, but with Hulk Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter. Yeah, I love that. That was pretty cool. Yeah, there's this really cool beat to that commercial. But come on, we need to beat this up. When nobody's talking, we need to make something, get some conversation before Angel calls in, which is going to be very soon. I just talked to him a second ago. So hopefully he's going to be calling within the next few minutes.
Okay. But yeah, so just a couple of things we wanted to mention, because I couldn't put my finger on it, but I swear I knew who that kid was, and I'm glad, because he looked like I'd seen him more than once, and obviously I had. So.
Well, I think you also had your eyes set on a match that happened at on the pre-show of Extreme Rules called a WLC match with everything was little. I mean, you had the referees from the commentators from the wrestlers El Torito and Hornswoggle, or
Short
the referee.
Samson was there. Did you see that?
I know, and the announcer announced him as Hornswoggle.
I couldn't understand why they made that goof, and they kept calling him that. And then we had Jerry the King Smaller, and there was Micro Cole. And then at first he called himself WeBL. Then I guess they decided to stick with JB Elf.
They changed it throughout the match. I don't know why.
But he posted a picture that kind of got him in trouble. But he's since taken it down. But obviously he knew the dirt sheets would be quick to catch that and had to say something about it.
They definitely caught it, and they're making some noise about that online, which I don't think they should make a big deal about it. It's supposed to be secret and stuff, so I mean I don't know why they're continuously talking about it.
Also, if for those who have not seen it, I'm pretty sure it's blown up completely on YouTube. It's probably one of the most viewed videos so far this year, with WWE doing a tribute to one of their Make-A-Wish children that really got to live out his dream.
The Stone Crusher, yes, absolutely. Probably one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I mean, the people at WWE were so nice to give him that tribute. I mean, it was really amazing.
Yes, I don't know anybody who hasn't watched it and said that they enjoyed it. That they didn't enjoy it, excuse me. But did I lose you there?
I'm still here. He said he's calling in. He's calling in now. That's him.
All right. I know it ain't the one that I just pressed because we made that goof already. So we'll go with this one right here. You know what? Shut up. I didn't ask you. Anyways, well, welcome, Angel. How you doing, man?
Oh, hey, how you doing, guys? Sorry I'm late. I just was doing another phone interview, and it was taking a little bit longer, so I do apologize about that.
No worries. You're just the man in demand right now.
Pretty much, I think. I mean, I don't think so, but, a lot of people have been calling me.
Hey, that's good, though. That's good. That's very good.
Got to ride that wave. Got to ride the wave, man.
We appreciate you taking time to chat with us, man. Austin, I know you're going to go ahead and fire away first, so knock yourself out, man.
Absolutely. We always like to ask, how did you get your start in professional wrestling? You're not like actually getting into it. I mean, as a child, were you a fan?
Absolutely. I was always a fan. I mean, I started wrestling. I started becoming a fan in junior high school, in the 8th grade. And I always remember this. My friend had a Wrestling Illustrated magazine. Ric Flair was on the cover, and he showed it to me. And he said, "Bro, you got to watch. Who's this?" I'm asking, "Who is it?" "Oh, that's Ric Flair." I mean, he's really breaking it down. And he goes, "You got to watch Clash of Champions and stuff like that." Yeah. And he's the one that put me up on wrestling. And ever since then, I got hooked. And then I just was a huge fan of the NWA and, like World Class and, the Von Erichs and stuff like that. I mean, I wasn't a Von Erich fan, but the company.
Yes.
Were you a fan of
were you more of a fan of the good guys or the bad guys as you started getting into it?
I just love wrestling. Oh, yeah. I mean, of course you're going to love the good guys, Eric Embry, I mean, yeah. I mean, I was, you're always going to go with the fans. But you know what? To be honest with you, I did love the Four Horsemen. I did love the Midnight Express. Because I used to always watch, Midnight Express versus the Fantastic, the Four Horsemen versus Sting, and Dusty Rhodes and Nikita Koloff and Crusher Khrushchev and, all these great athletes, and stuff like that. I mean, I just remember those guys coming in, the Juicer. I mean, this is a little bit in WCW, but, I was watching it all the time,
So in high school, were you participating in, any sports, like wrestling maybe?
Yeah, I was in football. I did wrestling. I mean, I did, I was an athletic kid. I mean, I wasn't the star quarterback or anything, but I was a lineman, and, I got into it. I was always athletic. I was into martial arts and stuff like that. So it was a blast. Yeah, I always kept
going off subject
active.
Real quick. I'm sorry there. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I just wanted to ask, going off the subject, I wanted to get your thoughts on something as a fan, looking at it as a fan. What did you think about the Undertaker losing his streak to Brock Lesnar this year?
To be honest, I really didn't like it. To be honest with you, I thought what was going to happen is that it was going to lead into a Sting angle where he would have lost the streak to Sting. So I think that, to me, in my eyes, I thought he was going to lose a streak to Sting. Something would have happened in the Brock Lesnar match, or even if he would have lost it to Brock Lesnar, Sting would have gotten involved in some form or fashion. To make him lose, to give that angle for the next WrestleMania.
I could dig that.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Sorry,
Austin, were you there?
Yeah, okay. I was going to say,
make sure I had you there.
when I actually seen it happen, I was actually live in the Superdome when it actually happened, and people, they were like, you have a reaction when somebody loses that you might have wanted to win. People were expecting, the Undertaker to go or to win because he did it, that many times beforehand. And then when he lost, the feeling in that arena, the Superdome, was just unique. I've never experienced anything like it. And I thought he was going to pull out the win, but I guess they changed something in between the match.
Bro, you were just looking at the black guy with his surprise face. Priceless.
Yeah. We all were.
That's
I think
why he's like, Well, with the black dude, it was just like his eyes were bugging out, like crazy. He was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah. That was the definite feeling as far as people watching at home and people in the audience there. Austin was telling me that people were literally crying that the Undertaker lost. That's how invested they were into the match, and just as one of the greatest managers of all time, Jim Cornette, he says, it's always that good feeling to see Undertaker come in and conquer another opponent and move on. It gives you that feel-good moment, and when you didn't get that, you were like, holy crap, what just happened?
And I heard it was his decision to do. I mean, that was his decision to do what he needed to do in the ring. I mean, I don't understand why he did it, but I just didn't see why he, I just don't understand. I was like, why did he do that, but I mean, that's his choice. Maybe he was tired, maybe he was just not feeling right,
True.
Now getting later into your, getting into wrestling, you were actually trained by Johnny Rods. How was that experience, like training with a person like him? I mean, that's awesome.
Well, first of all, it's the unpredictable Johnny Rods. You got to get that fact, It's not the, Ric Flair. It's the Nature Boy, Ric Flair,
Nature
Macho
Boy,
Man, Randy Savage. So you got to get those things in there. But yeah, the unpredictable Johnny Rods was my trainer, still is. He's like my dad, and he, he was phenomenal. He was great, I mean, he's a great. I mean, I'm talking like he wasn't great, like he just passed away or something. But no, he's still great, He's just a phenomenal trainer, and he was just always there for us, and he's still there for me to this day. He's always been there to assist me.
I actually wonder too. If you don't mind, go ahead, Austin. I'll get the next question.
Well, I was gonna say, how did you get set up with Johnny Rods? Was that like were your sights set on him at first, or did you have any other wanting to go in any other wrestling schools?
When I was a kid, I looked into wrestling, and I don't remember. I called WWE at the time, WWF. I spoke to a receptionist, and I was just asking, hey, who should I go? Who should I get in contact with? She told me a bunch of names. She sent me a bunch of magazines, I remember. WWE magazines, of course. And then I sent out for some correspondence to, I remember the Hart School. There was another school, but I can't remember. It was just like a bunch of pamphlets that I got. And it was just so far away. I was not going to go to Canada. I was not going to go to Larry Sharp because that was too far in Jersey. And, as a kid at that age, 17, it was just not going to work. And then, let me see, one day I was watching TV it's called Good Day New York. And they were doing a segment. And one of the segments was professional wrestling, and they were talking about, the unpredictable Johnny Rods, and it was going over this thing on the show, and I'm like, oh shit, there's a school in Brooklyn. So I just went to Brooklyn and met Johnny Rods and sat down and talked to him, and the rest is history.
Nice. My question is, when you got started training and so forth, and got better at at what you were doing, how did you get set up with or hear from Heyman?
Oh, what it was is that I mean, this is straight fact. There's no fluff on it. We were in the ring. It was like summertime, and it was me, another wrestler who was a manager named Java Shabibi, Chris, and he was going down to Philadelphia to the ECW arena because Devon just left. I knew Devon way before, Devon Dudley. He was known as A-Train at the time, and he was, we knew each other for a little bit, and then he got picked up because I remember Johnny came out of the office and he spoke to one of the guys, and his name was Birdman, a black dude, big muscular dude, and he goes, I just got a call from Paul Heyman, they need a black guy to come down, blah blah blah. That's the story. So apparently it didn't work out with him. I don't know. The thing was, he didn't go, if I remember correctly, because he was like, ECW, that extreme stuff. He was really like, I ain't gonna go down there, So the next person was Devon, and then Devon went. The rest is history. So anyway, when Devon was down there, Jabba was going down there for some training, stuff like that. So one day he was like, I was gonna go down this weekend, but my car is all messed up, and I won't be able to do it, to go down to Philly to do that, to train down there. And I said, hey, if it's cool with Devon, I could drive you down there. That's no problem. I used to drive like a 1990 something Ford Escort. So he was like, well, let me talk to Devon first, So he spoke to Devon. Devon said, yeah, tell Angel to come down and just bring his stuff. And I went down, brought my stuff, and Devon told me to get dressed. I got in the ring. There was Tracy Smothers, Nova, Chetty, Guido. Everybody was in the ring because every time before a show they did calisthenics, stretching, a couple spots here and there, just workout. So I had a good workout with Guido. And as soon as I walked through the curtain, there was, as soon as I walked to the ECW in the curtain, right as I looked straight forward, and as Paul Heyman, Sabu, and Rob Van Dam, they were going over a match, or going over whatever, and Paul said, hey, kid, come here, and he called me over, and he said, I like what I saw, stick around. And I'm like, huh? Just stick around, kid. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So I run to Devon. Devon, I don't understand what he's saying. Stick around. He didn't tell me anything. And he goes, well, if Paul Heyman tells you to stick around, just stick around. And I said, I still don't understand. If Paul Heyman tells you to stick around, just stick around. And I stuck around, and the rest is history.
Now, how much is Paul Heyman into actually the production, I guess, of the characters and who and what went with who, like with the tag team, the stable that you had. How much Paul Heyman how much did he contribute to making that?
Oh man, Paul was into everything. He was like, I'm trying to bring up somebody who was just like, okay, and I know, you guys are young, but like Bruce Lee, if you looked at the history of Bruce Lee, he was the director, the producer, the choreographer. He did everything. And, that was Paul Heyman. He did production. He did what you wanted to say. He was the one to come up with the angles. Of course, Tommy Dreamer and all of them were involved, but he was always there. That's what I'm saying. He was always there inputting.
They don't call him the mad scientist of professional wrestling for nothing.
That's right. So that's what I'm saying. He was always there, talking. If Tommy was talking about, Tommy was the one that in Michigan pulled me and DeVito to the side, and Paul Heyman was like right there, and he said, hey, this is the idea of the ball. This is what we're gonna do. So, like I said, if Paul was there, if Tommy was there, Paul was there. If you go into the production room, Paul was there. If you went into the promos, people cutting promos, Paul was telling you what to do, cut promos. He was just everywhere. Dude, he was even telling me, like, he'd come out of nowhere, he'll watch you. Like, you don't think he's watching you, but he was watching you. And one day he came up to me and says, right in the ring, and he goes, Angel, blah, 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 and he's talking about my promo, how I work the crowd and everything. He goes, I want you to do it like this. Everything. He was always his hands were always into it. T-shirts, sales, everything. It was Paul Heyman always involved in something.
Smart son of a gun, that's for sure.
Oh, he's a genius, man. He's a genius. I have total respect for him. Everybody thinks I'm pissed off at him about what happened. It's not that I was, again, I keep repeating myself, but it's not that I was pissed off. It was just I was let down. That's all it was. It was just like, oh, what? It's like your dad, like I said in many interviews before, like your dad. Your dad took you to the ball games. Your dad bought you cotton candy. Your dad took you out for ice cream. Your dad did this. Your dad did that. Your dad told you you're the greatest, and all this stuff. And then one day your dad goes, son, I'll be back. I'm going to go to the store and get milk and cigarettes. And then he never comes back. Well, regardless of what all his dad done, at the end,
comparison.
Dad left him. Yeah, you get mad, and that's the only reason I was mad is because, he knew. The problem with Paul is that, we believed in him 110%. So all he had to do, to be honest, if things were not going the way it was supposed to be going, all he had to do is, yo, guys, look, company's done. It's a wrap. If you guys still want to perform your last show, blah, blah, blah. Paul knew that we would have been like, you know what, Paul, fuck it, we'll do it.
That's true.
But I think he just didn't think, I think maybe at that time he was like, I don't want to take a chance. I don't want to, lose, the talent that I have and not have a show. I don't know. That's just my assumption.
And, with the fans today, with the introduction of the WWE Network, it's slowly but surely it's going to happen. But new fans get reintroduced to the era of the Extreme, during its heyday in ECW. Have you actually thought about what the what are your thoughts about new fans being introduced to what you guys did back then?
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's fine. It's great. It's just, I have kids, and it's funny. I do have people that will, babies, 2, 3, I don't know. Maybe not even born, and they just watch reruns of ECW. And, oh, man, I used to watch you. My dad showed me some tapes of ECW, and, it's just awesome, and it was just a great show. So it is what it is. You're going to have fans, you're going to have fans new and old, so I don't think ECW will ever die. Look at him. Look at last night on Raw, Van Dam fought Cesaro. ECW. It will never die, dude. Vince hates it. I don't know why he hates it, but
because he didn't come up with it.
Well, yeah,
he wasn't
absolutely.
the one to think about it. He wasn't the one to create it, so obviously he doesn't like anything that he didn't create.
Oh, absolutely.
In my opinion,
Vince is a genius too, but anyways.
I mean, yeah, and like I said in the other show that I was just talking to a little while ago, I mean, Vince is a genius, absolutely. But he is like, he's becoming, and I'm trying to use a wrestler, like a comic book terminology, like the Beyonder, like the Silver Surfer. I am beyond, I am the all, I am God, Neil Tazad. It's
That's
just
a good comparison.
I mean, that's what the problem is. It's just that he just thinks that he is the
be all
okay.
end all.
It's just like that's what, yeah, just like in the the undiscovered not the undiscovered country, the search for Spock. What was the one when Spock? I mean, if you guys are Star Trek fans, when they went and they found God at the end of the universe,
God,
and then it was really just an alien. Oh, it was one of the stars. But anyway, the bottom line is, he just thinks he is the man. I mean, nothing else exists but WWE. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I just don't think there's certain people like like Sting. Sting is a staple, and he's the only guy that never went to WWE until now. And people knew who Sting was, but I mean, Vince is just like, oh, if you never went to WWE, you're nobody. But
well, that's not necessarily always true, but I'm sure he believes that.
That's what I'm saying.
And I wanted to bring up something that most recently happened as far as you recently had a match. Well, I guess it wasn't that recent, but it was a couple of weeks ago. You had a match with Rhino. Tell us about that. How'd that go down? I mean, obviously you did win that, and just if you wanted to talk a little bit about how that whole thing. How was the event? Did you have fun?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. The event was fine. I mean, the fans were great. Hardcore Road Trip rules. It's just the match with Rhino was fun. It was just incredible experience, like always. Working with Rhino it's an honor, like always. I always joke with him and stuff like that. But it was just good to see friends and good to just go in the ring one more time. I keep saying one more time, and then 2 months later I bump into him and wrestle him again. But you never know when. You never know when it's the last day. Today, me and Rhino, I could drop dead tomorrow, and Rhino's like, well, I was in Angel's last match. You know what I mean? So that's why I always say, always wrestling for one last time, one more time. Because you never know how life throws that curveball at you.
Coincidentally, I wanted to actually bring up. With the idea of what Jeff and his wife are doing, I mean, what if one day he were to call and ask you to come work for him? That just goes to with what you're saying. You're never really completely out of wrestling, whether you're either a performer or you're an agent backstage working with the new generation or whatever. But I mean, I think that would be interesting.
Absolutely.
But.
Well,
Austin,
like
you
I
still
said,
there?
if fucking Jeff Jarrett calls me, I'll just say, show me the Carfax, and let's get this shit going, dog.
There you go.
I want to go back for a second to, we're talking about ECW. Do you think there could have been an Attitude Era, well, at least the idea of an Attitude Era, without there being an ECW?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Nah, because ECW was just something that it just helped grow the Attitude Era. I mean, yeah, they needed something, and the ECW gave them something to go off. And if it wasn't for ECW, I don't think Vince would have been able to survive the WCW, war, Monday Night War. But I think with ECW giving them, back then he was like, oh, fuck hardcore, that ain't real wrestling. And then all of a sudden he had a hardcore title, and then all of a sudden Rick Foley. All these motherfuckers coming in there, like that's from ECW, Sabu, fucking Luchadors, everything that ECW did. Yeah. Oh yeah, they suck, bullshit. And then when those chips were down, the thing about Vince McMahon is this is how I see him. Anybody got any ideas? Well, boss, I think, we should bring some of the ECW guys into WWE to do XYZ, and oh, that's stupid kid, man. keep thinking. Wait a minute, I have an idea. What if we bring some of those ECW guys here and work this angle? That's a great idea, boss. I wish I thought of that. Well, that's why I'm Vince McMahon, brother. And that's how I see things like that. Motherfuckers come out there, that's bullshit. Keep thinking,
Actually, yeah, that's how I nail on the head there.
I mean, that's how I just see him, The guy, it has to be his idea. If not, it sucks,
And going back, in ECW still, you're with the Baldies, and you actually had a really, intense feud with New Jack, and I think New Jack is actually a conversation in itself. How interesting of an experience it was, wrestling him. Is it unpredictable?
It was crazy.
New Jack was a good guy, man. I mean, he was, again, I don't have no issues with nobody, and I always work with New Jack pretty well. I mean, I liked working with him. He was a good guy. I mean, he still is, and, he always took care of me, and I took care of him in the ring. I mean, it's just, he was short-tempered. I mean, from my standpoint, from seeing him from the other side of the fence, but I never seen him get mad at me, so I don't get mad at other people, So.
In your career in professional wrestling, there are many, and just in general for a professional wrestler, sometimes they match them up with a manager / valet. If in your career, if you could have chosen to work with anybody in particular as your manager or a valet, who would you have chosen to work with during your time, even now, whether it be ECW or now?
I think it would have been, if it would have went into a managerial role, I would have went with the Angle when CM Punk did the touch the screen. Remember when he did he had the bullheaded group, what was the group called?
The Straight Edge Society?
Straight Edge Society.
Yeah. So, I mean, that would have been a good little baldy angle, and stuff like that. I mean, he would have been somebody that could have did the angle like that. I mean, look how the funny thing about wrestling is that, people think everything that Vince does is original, but if you look at the Bray Wyatt, who is he? I mean, I'm just throwing some history to you. Who is Bray Wyatt?
Waylon Mercy. I mean, I guess you comparison out
there. You go. Yeah, Waylon Mercy gimmick, and again the Shield. Those are the Baldies. They're doing the hand sign with the Baldies. We used to do that. But this one they got hair. It's the fucking Baldies.
Yeah. Everything gets recycled and redone again.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's original. But Waylon Mercy, that was a perfect example. Waylon Mercy. Okay, Flash Funk, Brodus Clay.
Oh.
Same shit. He had the Funkadactyls, he had the Funkadelics, whatever the fuck. And I'm just saying, dude, I mean, he just recycles it. I mean, nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. It didn't work then, it works now. I mean, but it's just funny that, it's just like, it's not like, oh my God, it just came out of nowhere. No, it's just crazy.
And it's like the phrase, an author can't write about, what he doesn't know. I mean, if he doesn't know about it, he can't write about something that he has no idea of. So, I mean, everybody takes from, something from other people, no matter where it is.
Much.
Yeah.
Wait, so, I was going to say, you're going into, ECW, and you get out of it. Where did you go? Did you get any calls from, going to WCW? Well, no, you were in ECW beforehand. So you're still at ECW. After ECW, did you get any, calls from WWE or anywhere else, like maybe like TNA a few years later?
The funny thing, true story, and again, I don't know how fact it is, but there was one time when I was just like, oh, fuck this, I'm just too tired of this bullshit. I was just at the level where I just needed a break, and during the time of the Puerto Rico incident. And then I moved to Kansas, just again, I needed a break. I needed to wind down. And what I found out was that Tommy was looking for me. And the reason why Tommy was looking for me at one time is because they wanted me to be the bodyguard for the angle of the when Daivari was the manager for that Arabian dude.
Oh,
they were American Muslim.
Yeah.
They were the American Muslims or whatever. We went to your schools. We hung out with Americans, but you spit on us after every September 11th. Like, so they wanted, again, I'm not saying this is what they called me on. It's just that they were looking for me. And, dude, they were looking for you. This is what they wanted to do with you, but they couldn't find you. And that was going to be his bodyguard. They needed a bodyguard. And that was the thing. I would have played the Muslim role. Turka. I could have done it. I seen fucking was that Team America? America, fuck yeah,
And have you actually got, I mean, I heard you had mentioned in previous interviews that you actually got to work in Puerto Rico. Was it with the Colognes? I think that's the only company they have out there, if I'm wrong. But
no, at the time it was IWA with Victor Quiñones. It was Cologne and IWA. Gotcha.
Okay. And how was that experience working out there? I've heard stories that the Puerto Rican fans are very, very passionate fans.
Yeah, they are very passionate fans. They love their lucha, lucha libre. I mean, it's a different experience. It's just like, you know what it is? It's just like the old wrestling, the NWA, Ric Flair, when the fans wanted to kill you and you cut in the angle and beating up on their favorite star, they really wanted to just destroy you. So it is true, that, how it is. But it's just phenomenal.
I never hear a story about Puerto Rico when you have people like Blackjack Mulligan and Ivan Colfer on the show say that I never hear an ending where they're not being stabbed. Like I always hear about them being some fan, I guess, when they're walking back, stabs in some way.
Even the stories with Flair and Piper when they were actually out there fighting against, I believe it might have been Carlos. I'm not sure about that 100%, but with Piper being the kind of guy he is and was, I can pretty much assume that the Puerto Rican fans didn't really like his shenanigans, and they probably let him know about it. I don't know if you heard any of those stories.
There what?
Did you hear any of those stories about Piper and Flair traveling to Puerto Rico and the craziness those two would get into?
Yeah, I mean, I always heard the stories. Like I said, the Puerto Rican fans, man, are just crazy. I mean, it's awesome, dude. It's a good crazy. I mean.
Oh, it is. You're right.
It just, it gives you that, like, wow, I'm doing my job. And that's what it is.
And I actually wanted to ask, would you be okay answering a call from one of the fans?
Fuck them. No, just kidding. Go ahead.
There you go. But if you're okay with it, I've got one that's been waiting patiently to speak with you.
Oh, no, I don't care. Go ahead, man.
All right, here we go. All right, sir, you're on the air with Angel. What's your question?
Okay, first of all, this is Chris Gary of Fever Keeps It Real from Dickinson, Texas. And the question I want to ask of you, Angel, former Baldy, former ECW alum, even though I don't know if this might upset you or not, but what are your thoughts about the current situations that have happened over the last couple of weeks involving both the Extreme Rising and Hardcore Road Trip promotions?
Well, I mean, it's kind of funny how you say that. It's just weird that they both happen at the same time. It's like, they had it planned. It's just funny, like, you make it seem like, it's just like, I could picture those two motherfuckers in Barbados drinking mojitos saying, we did it again, moo-ha-ha-ha, And, but it's just so fucking disrespectful how these guys who takes the fans' money, and, and also disrespect the workers, because we want to give the fans 110% of our passion, 110% of our soul in that ring, and give them the best experience. And then you got some jabroni while we're busting our ass in the ring, just walk out the door. And, that's what's heartbreaking, I mean, the Hardcore Road Trip thing, one is just that the fans were just phenomenal. Why were they phenomenal? Because they were there for us. I've never seen, and I'm not saying the American fans aren't there for us. I'm just saying that, but think about it. You go to another country, and again, I know Canada's our neighbor, and I don't consider it another country, but if you really look at it, man, if you went to Barbados, if you went to England, if you went to fucking Egypt, and you're like, man, what the fuck am I? And then, and you get fucked like that, and then all the people in that country rile up and say, no, we're going to take care of you and take you where you need to go. That's a kind of a fucking eye-opener, man, because you only think that only the Americans are going to be like, man, only in America, man, that we take care of our own and stuff. And that's when you realize there's more passionate wrestlers out there, wrestling fans that love their wrestlers. And it just opened my, I mean, I'm not going to lie. To me, it hit me in my heart, man. It put a tear in my eye. And trust me, the last time I had a tear in my eyes was when I was cutting an onion. And this really hit me at home when those fans were like really there for us and took care of the wrestlers when they were stranded, and that was the situation. And with the Extreme Rising thing, this guy just literally took the money from the fans and didn't give it back to them, and told them, "Well, just call your fucking bank and to stop payment on the." Oh yeah, but of course your bank's gonna hit you for canceling checks or stuff like that, so you're gonna get charged. Now, so what kind of promoter is that?
I don't know, but do you think those morons, the ones who run the promotions, the Extreme Rising and Hardcore Road Trip promotions, will ever? And you know what? Come to think of it, there was another promotion like that called the Urban Wrestling Federation, where their ending angle was a guy by the name of Steve the Hustler riding off in a taxi. But do you think there will ever be...
Damn, what a coincidence.
Yeah, but do you think these guys, these promoters that ran these promotions to the ground will ever get back into the world of professional wrestling again?
Doubtful.
No, and, I'm to be honest, they burned that bridge. They really, really disrespected
More than
business.
once.
And if they... And that's what I'm saying. I mean, I just cannot see them coming back. And I mean, ever come back into wrestling again. I had to quote Chris Jericho. And the thing is that dude, if they come back and anybody works for them or any fan gives them money, dude, you deserve to be fucked. I don't want it to happen, but you know what I mean? But you get fucked before. You're not going to trust this guy again with your money or your talent. So I don't think they'll be able to come back. They might come back and, like with a big mustache and, Steve O'Neill will grow some hair on the top of his head. And you know what I mean? Go somewhere else and call himself something different. Like, hey, I'm Stevie Mac, and I'm here to do, promotion. I mean, because how many, do you really know this promoter's name really? Hey, I'm Johnny Blaze, I'm so-and-so, so-and-so. Okay, pay me. You don't really look at the credentials. You don't go, hey, let me see your license. What does it really say?
I believe he was a DJ at one point.
No, that's what. Yeah, it is. Steve O'Neill is a DJ.
It basically said it came off a cereal box or something.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you calling in, man.
Steve O'Neill was DJ. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for letting me on, and thanks for the conversation, Spanish Angel.
Oh, anytime.
All right, man.
Man, he brought up Spanish Angel. I haven't heard that since a long time ago. He's a wrestling fan. I appreciate that.
You can tell, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
I got that name from Johnny Rod, just to let you know.
What's that?
That's Johnny Rod gave me that name.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, actually, speaking of that...
To be honest, I don't mean to cut you off, but to be honest, man, back in the days, you say, oh, that's nice. But when he sat me down in that chair, he goes, Angelo. He calls me Angelo. He always called me Angelo. I'm not even Italian. And he goes, Angelo, I got the name for you. And I'm like, yeah, Johnny? The Spanish Angel. Huh? You remember the French Angel? That ugly motherfucker from WWE? WWF? Yeah? Yeah. But I'm going to call you the Spanish Angel. I don't like it, Johnny. Well, fuck you. You're the Spanish Angel. And I'm like, great. Thanks, Johnny. And that's how I got stuck with the Spanish Angel. But it grew on me. It did. So I don't mind being called that.
Go ahead, Austin.
I was going to say, like with Extreme Rising, for example, this entire time he's promised, Steve Wynn has promised so much, and I was anticipating Extreme Rising to be, just an up-and-coming promotion that would be awesome just to watch, and it was. Like for the few events that it did have, the ones that I watched, it was really good. And then all the stuff, he's like, okay, we're going to have a TV show in this time, and then none of that happened. And now it starts to, kind of lose faith, and then everything just all dropped a few months ago, and it's
well, we kind of
really
should have realized that too, Austin, because of the fact that when we had Steve O'Neill on the show last year, if you remember, he talked about wanting to sell Extreme Rising to Vince McMahon. That should tell you how much dedication he really wanted to this company. He wanted to give the company.
See, the funny thing about Extreme Rising is that, again, you guys don't know the whole story. And it's not a story. It's just little things that were coming up. Like, when I first did the first show, And then and I was happy they didn't use me again. But I always kept in contact with Homicide. I always kept in contact with the boys, and they were telling me these stories. Yo, they shorted me on my check. I was, and I'm making up numbers here. But I was getting paid $1,000 a night. And then the next show, he was like, oh, I only could pay you $8. And then the next show, he was like, oh, I only could pay you $6. And that's the thing. He just kept fucking the boys over. And then I'm like, dude, don't go back. Because the more you go back, the more he's like, oh, I could tell him, I only give him $100 and they're still going to come back. And that's what was going on. It was gradually, that was happening little by little in the back scenes. He was just screwing the boys over financially. And again, they were like, oh, fuck it, I'll go. And I'm not saying Homicide did that. I'm just saying, like, that's how, guys, you didn't put your foot down. That's the problem. They didn't put their foot down and said, no, I ain't doing this. This is bullshit.
Well, Homicide kind of got the really crappy end of the stick in TNA during his time there. I don't know the whole details, but I know that they really kind of they didn't pay a lot of people all the time, and their insurance, that was another story, but the pay wasn't always as good as they'd asked for. I've read stories about that, but his time in TNA could have been a lot better, I feel. I feel that maybe he could have stuck around, because I know his time working with Hernandez in TNA was, I enjoyed it. I mean, for what it was at the time, it was good. It was fun to watch, but it didn't last long.
But see, that's the problem again with the TNA thing. Is just they were just like fucking guys over too. They were just like they were paying guys $250 a match, and I'm not saying everybody. I'm just remember this is the number that was thrown out. And then like for example, if you wanted to work before, you was able to go work. So if you was making $250 a match, right, in TNA, but you can go out and charge $1,000 to work for ROH, Dragon's Gate, in the Indian promotion, and charge a lot of money. So it kind of compensated. But then at one point they were like, well, you need to get in contact with, I forgot his name, but, you need to get in contact with so-and-so at TNA if you want to book these guys. So then they started booking these guys and like, well, we'll let you have Eric Young. I'm just making that up. We'll have you have Eric Young for $700. And then they paid Eric Young $400, and they kept the rest.
Yep.
And I'm like, fuck you, dude. Who the fuck are you to take over? You're not the one working. You're not my, it's just that's what they were doing. And they just kept fucking you on that. And that's some bullshit. Can you say it? Bullshit.
I wanted to ask, do you, obviously, you have a Facebook page, but do you keep up with any other social media, Twitter, Instagram?
I try to do Twitter, man. I just try, I say a couple here and there, but I just don't know how guys go taking a shit, # ran out of toilet paper. I mean, I just don't.
Selfies, duck face.
I just don't see myself doing crazy shit, and that's the problem. I just don't see myself sitting there and going, Kingpin is buying a roast. Can't find any cloves of garlic, #.
Well, I grew up in the time when there was no cell phones. There were just pagers back then, and yeah.
Oh yeah, same
back
here.
then it was much more simpler, but I accepted that because it was a lot easier to deal with, a lot more fun.
Oh yeah, I mean absolutely, but it's just weird, man. I mean, it's just how people. I mean, I do keep up with social media. Don't get me wrong. I got my iPad. I love my iPad. I'm always on it. I'm always on my cell phone clicking away. I'm always answering fans on Facebook. I'm not ashamed to talk to people. Fuck you, kid. Leave me alone. Unless you have business to do with wrestling, don't call me. I'm just so cool and laid back about it. But I just can't figure. I just don't feel the Twitter shit. I just don't. I mean, if you
understood,
just ask me something, I answer it. I just can't. I don't feel it. I just don't get it. I'm not
you only
stupid.
have like 136
I know how to fuck with it.
characters. Like Riot Fans, like 136. You can only that's like your amount you can type on, which it doesn't make any sense to me. You only have 130 something, letters you can type in to make your post.
Gotta keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I just put like these nuts, and and I just leave it as is. These nuts.
I got one more caller on the line here. This will be our last call for tonight. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, no problem. That's fine, bro. Just bring them on, man. Bring them on.
All right, here we go. All righty, caller, you're on the air with Angel. What's your question?
I have no question. I just wanted to call in and say hello. I just wanted to call in and say hello to my band of friends here on Pipebomb, but also my good friend, the voice of the Baldies, the Kingpin, Angel of the Baldies. Hey, this is George from Reality Check Radio. How are you, Angel?
How you doing, man? I appreciate it. How you doing, bro?
Here. Just listening to your interview, bro. You're just as entertaining on this show as you were on ours. But, dude, I just wanted to personally just tell you how sorry I am for everything you and the rest of the boys at Hardcore Homecoming went through, and I'm just glad that all of you guys made it back home safe.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, everything went smooth. I mean, again, Canada is my second home. I appreciate everything they've done for us. I met some good friends. I met some new fans. So it's a kind of a plus. It sucked at certain points, but you make the good out of the bad out of the good, or the good out of the bad.
Absolutely.
And it's worth it. I mean, yeah, I lost money. I can't buy my daughter that. I can't buy her that tent that she always wanted. Now it's just one of those sad stories. But hey, I do take donations. If you guys, there's 1-800 that pop up in the bottom of the screen.
Me too.
Please say the Angel's Tent Fund.
Well, hey, Angel, we could always have like a Puerto Rican barbecue or something like you and Miguel were talking about that day. So by all means,
God, I heard that.
Puerto Rican food on the house.
There you go, Puerto Rican food. I appreciate that. I'll take that. A Cuban sandwich, too. I love Cuban food.
There you go.
I appreciate everything, I appreciate everything, and again, Canada was pretty good to me, It's just one person just ruined it, and that's Mark Livingston. And again, if you ever hear a guy named Mark Livingston, Mark Anderson, again, I hate talking bad about people, but don't work for them, man, because you're going to get bit in the ass.
Or Steve O'Neill.
There's nothing wrong getting bit in the ass, because I had a couple girls bite me in the ass a couple of times, and I was like, it was like, when you hear Mustafa, it just gave me that, shiver,
Well, hey, Angel, again, I'm just glad that everything's okay. And like I said, like you were saying, kind of similar to this, for every bad thing, you just bounce back and you come back stronger the next time. So, hey, just keep on doing what you're doing, Angel.
Oh, thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Anytime, man.
All right, man.
Thanks for calling in, man.
Anytime, Felix. Hey, keep on doing great, guys. You're doing as great as usual. You and Austin. What's up, Austin?
Thank you. Hey, George. Stop. Jorge. No, I always get your name wrong. Jorge George.
Hey, knowing that you guys were talking about
hashtags.
By the way, knowing that you guys were talking about hashtags, Austin, you'll get this. Hashtag Herbalife. Later, guys.
Herbalife, yeah. Really interesting stuff with the herbs and all this stuff. It shakes. Yeah, it's really interesting. I hate to get message you about that stuff, but if it wasn't for Jorge and his show, listening to his interview with you, Angel, I was just listening to it. I'm like, my God, it's awesome. Like just when you're invested into an interview, I couldn't stop listening to it. It was awesome. So I'm like, we have to get him on. So we did. And thank you so much for coming on too.
Oh no problem. Anytime, man. Like I said, I always do everything for everybody. I'm not one of those prima donnas, and I'm not saying that's just not me. I'm just so laid back. I mean, that's why we're like, what do you want me to show? Sure, no, why not? I'll do it. I mean, right now I'm just laying in my bed naked with the hardcore road trip laying on my lap. What?
George and Angel, are you guys going to actually go check out the Fluffy movie when it comes out?
Which one?
No.
He said no.
Which movie?
The one about with the Gabriel Iglesias. He's doing his stand-up comedy movie.
Nah, dude. I didn't even hear about that, man. I mean, he's funny, but not that funny.
Hey, well, it's cool.
I'd rather go see Ricky Martin. You
say Ricky Martin or Ricky Morton?
Ricky Martin, man.
Okay. Gonna be living la vida loca?
That's right, man. Got to do it.
I'm just messing with you.
Hey, since you bring it up, you got to bring up Chris Chetty when he used to do it in the ring all the time.
Oh Lord.
I remember that.
Well, I did want to ask, do you have any upcoming dates where you're going to be wrestling again?
Yeah, absolutely. I got a show coming up on June 14th. I'm trying to get bookings right now, so everybody, if you want the Kingpin, and still heavyweight champion, hardcore road trip champion, me, to be performing your show, you could just hit me up on Facebook. I'm not that hard to find. My nose is big, my lips are big, so it's just like, I look like the, the fucking Chester Cheetah on the fucking, the Doritos bag. Hey, cool, man. But
I remember those.
But yeah, man.
They don't make them like they used to, man.
The glasses. I know. Yeah, I mean, I got a show called June 14th called The Final Cut. I'm with Gary Wolf, Sandman, just some Sabu, Stevie Richards, Tuco Scorpio.
Oh, nice.
It's just tons of great talent on that show. The Power.
Do you ever actually come down to Wildcat with Luke Hawks and his guys?
Oh yeah, I was at the mission.
I want to come down. I would love to come down. And again, it's not about negotiations. I got to get my plane ticket. Got to give me a hotel. If the price is right. I mean, it just that's again, I would love to come down and work for them. That's no problem at all. It's just the worst part about it is just this is how I see things. Like Nebraska, Harley Racer School in Missouri, and and Wildcats. You got to go down and get a blood test, which I have no problem getting a blood test.
Actually, there's Devon in Bubba's school in Florida too.
Yeah, but the thing is the blood test, and you're paying like, I don't know, $60 to do a blood test, and then you get a license. You're like, oh man, I just dropped $60 on a fucking license I only used once. And that's so I'm always like, that's why I don't wrestle in Missouri, because I'm like, how many times do I wrestle in Missouri? If I'm wrestling Missouri every weekend or a lot, then the $60 is worth it. But when you just drop all that money, you're like, man, I only fucking dropped $60. So if I made if I made $300 off the show,
that's
$60, drop a Rabu, and then you start looking at
gas money, fool. I know that.
I gotta bring home. Yeah, gas money, all that shit, dude. Waffle House, love Waffle House.
Waffle House, there you go.
And I think that's the same exact thing with Louisiana. I think there's a certain protocol you have to do in order to actually, wrestle in Louisiana. I know you can't do any power drivers and a couple other moves supposedly.
So many things that you got to watch out for in different states too.
Yeah.
And the funny thing, one time Luke Hawks told me that, he goes, oh, bro, I want you to come down here. I said, dude, I don't want to spend the money on no fucking, blood. He goes, just go to the free clinic. They'll give you, they'll run the tests and everything. And I said, picture me in a fucking free clinic. Guy with fucking warts and shit and pus balls coming. And he looks at me, hey, aren't you, what are you doing here? I'm just getting a blood test. Oh, yeah? What do you have? No, it's just gonna, and all of a sudden, all over the internet, Kingpin Angel was found in the free clinic. Hard times on the Kingpin ever since Hardcore Road Trip went under.
Yeah, they'll be reporting that all over the damn dirt sheets. Better believe that.
I'll be homeless. They think I'm homeless, eating out of garbage cans and shit. Just because Luke Hawks told me to go to the free clinic to get a free blood test.
Mm.
Man, I bet he's listening in tonight. He'd be laughing his ass off.
Yeah.
You and Luke Hawks need to go around together with those titles, because I know that Luke Hawks is Extreme Rising Worldwide Champion, and you're the Hardcore Road Trip Worldwide Champion. You guys form like a tag team or something. And I know he's always talking about his huge effing arms. You guys need to make an awesome tag team. I mean, that'd be cool. Just kind of comprised of.
He has the huge fucking arms, and I got the huge fucking dick. Perfect.
Okay.
But the funny thing is that it's funny. I did put a picture of me and Luke Hawks on Facebook. I'm holding his hat and he's holding mine.
Pretty badass.
And it was just funny. I was surprised. I mean, if I knew then what I knew now, I definitely would have got a piece of cardboard and said "Wrestle for food." And
there you go.
It's just funny that me and him are both we will always be known that he'll be the Extreme Heavyweight Champion, I'll be the Hardcore Road Trip Heavyweight Champion.
And from here on out, I mean, unless they want to come take it from me, which I don't think they're going to dare try to do right now.
But I won't be surprised. Steve DeAngelis, just to let you know, Steve DeAngelis will resurrect Hardcore Road Trip and turn it into another company, because he is a genius when it comes to the storylines that we did, and he could be the next big thing, you know. I mean,
if he really sits down and actually does it, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you get some backing and you get somebody, you know, who's willing to invest in the company, you know, I mean, with his brain and his know-how, you know, people just know him as the ring announcer guy, you know, world of Extreme and stuff, but he has a brain on him, and the guy has knowledge, and he has a plethora of knowledge that I think he could just definitely make something fly off the shelves with his knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully that comes to be, because I always say that with more wrestling companies out there, it's always another place for somebody to go and better their craft. So if they were to actually go into the bigger leagues, they'd be ready to go.
Absolutely, man. I mean, you can't beat it. You can't beat it at all. You know, without competition. You know, without competition, you know, like, I mean, even though WWE is fine and stuff, but I mean, look at, like you brought it up before, the Attitude Era. When there was the Monday Night War, that motherfucker was like, yo, put titties on the fucking TV. Dude, Valvina's dick gets cut off. You know, Mark Henry and fucking Mae Young giving birth to the hand. Yeah. You know, Mark Henry with the transvestite in the bathroom. It's perfect. Do it.
Oh, God.
It's great. It's fucking ratings.
Oh, my God.
But it was fucking
I can hear
working.
Vince saying that, too.
But it was fucking working. And when you have competition, your creative juices flow a little better.
Absolutely. Did you actually have any other questions for Angel, Austin?
No, that's it for me. I was just saying congratulations for going out and, you know, really doing what you want to do in life, because not many people actually do. You know, really, it's always sad people. I mean, there really is not many people actually go out and accomplish what they want in their life. And you, I hope you don't have any regrets. I mean, you've done some amazing things.
No, I don't have any regrets, man. I mean, I'm happy where I got. I mean, because of Devon, because of, you know, certain people in my life, you know, Vito, DeVito. I mean, even though I always joke about him, you know, but he helped the Baldies become who we are. I mean, I'm proud of what I've done in my life. I mean, I wish I'd done more. I wish I was main eventing WrestleMania or something like that. But it is what it is and stuff like that. But, you know, if it wasn't for ECW and Paul Heyman and the boys in the locker room, I won't be selling, like, ball lint in the, you know, and, you know, to fans. They're like, yeah, I'll buy your ball lint, Angel. Thank you. $50, please. You know? And, because, dude, ball lint from the Kingpin is like liquid gold. So,
there you go.
But, dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, there's things I sold like jokingly, and I love fans, and I appreciate it. It's just, but it is, you know, on my side of the fence, like, huh? Like one time I had you know, like a busted pair of sunglasses, the ball that I wore, and he goes, "Hey, Angel, I'll give you $200 for that." What?
Are you serious?
Yeah, and they were like, yeah, and I'm like, really? And I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah, I'll just give you $200 for that. And I'm like, okay, thank you.
Sure.
And I'm just like, I'm rich, bitch. You know,
Waffle House on me. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, yes, Waffle House. I'll get the double stack. You know, throw an extra piece of pork on that motherfucker. But again, I appreciate, you know. But you know what? To be honest with you, even though he paid a lot of money for it, he appreciated it, you know, because
he did.
That's what I look at it. Yeah, people, you know, a lot of certain wrestlers are like, yo, I got this fucking, you know, fan bought this hat that's for, you know, for $600, and you know, and you like, and the hat only cost you like $20. But you know what? He he'll look at that hat and go, that's, you know, that's fucking Bill Alfonso hat, and you will have pride, you know. So yeah, he spent a lot of money, but it means more to him than it meant to you. So, I mean, I just appreciate fans buying things from me, and I thank them all the time. And, you know, it's just on my side of the fence, I'm just like, really? You want to buy my sweaty socks? You want toenail clippings with it, too? Because I could give you toenail clippings, you know, and ball in, you know. Give you the fucking package, you know. But again, I appreciate it. And if it wasn't for fans, we wouldn't be where we're at. And, you know, I'm just happy they buy, you know, they just enjoy, they just want a piece of the memory, and that's great, you know. You know.
Damn, that's true.
But
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh, absolutely.
I definitely want to say on behalf of Austin and myself, Angel, we really do thank you for sitting down and chatting with us and talking about Waffle Houses and crazy promoters and everything else in between. It was indeed an honor to speak with you, man, and hopefully maybe somewhere down the line we'll have you come on back for maybe a part 2.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Anytime, man. I mean, you know how to get a hold of me. I'm not that hard to to get in contact on Facebook. I'm always answering everybody. So if you want me back on the show, it'd be an honor and a pleasure to be part of that round table, cracking jokes and living the life. But I mean, it is what it is, and again, Canada, I made some good friends and had a bad experience, and it turned into a good experience. And I met some wonderful people, and I just appreciate them and stuff. And it's just hard for me to just not, again, it's just I wish I could do more for the fans. But I just want to say thank you, and thank you for having me on your show and giving me a shout out. Because like I said,
absolutely.
Once you go reeking, you never go seeking, and once you have the Kingpin on the
go.
show,
I like that.
you're gonna have ratings. Because I'm one of those motherfuckers that make coffee nervous. Always remember that.
There you go. That's awesome.
I wish I could do that, but I can't. I don't have the power. So I wish I could make coffee nervous, but I know I don't possess that power to do any of that.
Man.
It's maybe later down the line.
Yeah. It comes with age and experience, man.
Absolutely, brother. As long as you say your prayers, take your vitamins, and believe in yourself,
there you go.
Can be a success.
Oh shit! No, you didn't.
Then I
do
can
that.
make coffee nervous. Yes.
There you can make coffee nervous, brother.
Yes, sir.
That's what it's all about. Hey, man, just follow your dream, man. I mean, don't let nobody stop you. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, I was divorced, because of wrestling. But if you have a passion for something and you believe in it, do it, man. Because, like you said, you got one life to live, and life goes by too quick, and then you're going to sit there in your fucking wheelchair at the old folks' home getting your colostomy bag changed and say, man, I should have done it. And that's the sad part. Just do it, man. Fuck it, man. Just take the breast, take the bull by the horns and just ride it and see where it leads. You're the master of your own destiny, man. And a lot of people are scared to do anything because they're afraid. And I'm afraid, I've been there. It's just there's times that I just jumped and said, fuck it, let me do it.
That's right.
But this one last thing, you saying that is, that's I was reading this quote by the Apple creator, what's his name? Steve Jobs. He said, why be scared to go out and do anything in life? Because in the end, everybody's going to die anyway. So, and when you do die, all the fear and embarrassment's going to wash away in the face of death anyway. So why not go out and do something while you have a life?
Well, like you said, Steve Jobs. Look at guys who invented the pet rock, or the guys who invented the fucking Snuggie. Some dickhead just decided, hey, let me put this row backwards, and make it long. Now soon I got the Snuggie, millions of dollars. Even if it's a one-hit wonder, dude. It took a year or two. No, but look at the Snuggie. 1 to 2 years when it was like a hit, and then it's no longer like the shit anymore. But all those years, those 2 years that it was people were buying, 1999. How much dollars did that motherfucker make? Now that motherfucker's just chilling, like, yeah, the Snuggie, nigga. I'm the nigga who invented the Snuggie.
Yes, sir.
And stuff, It is, you just gotta take a chance, man. You never know, man. You never know. So, I mean, like I said, I want to invent the first fucking portable girl back griddle cake maker. Just put the griddle cake on her back while you're doing it from behind, so the friction from the hot sacks just heats up the griddle, and so you can make pancakes and have sex at the same time.
Oh my gosh!
But that's what they call it, hot sex on a platter.
If you make that and it actually becomes a big seller, we can say you talked about it first here on Pipebomb Radio.
That's right, absolutely, man. I'll be like the George Foreman grill.
Hey.
Yeah, you can have your griddle cakes while you're the coffee on the side in the morning, and you're making you nervous. So you get a good combination.
You'd be like, oh man, Angel, these griddle cakes are so warm, man. What's this sugar glaze that you got on it? It's so delicious. Oh, brother, don't worry, it's a secret formula that I just made.
Oh, man. All right, man. Well, it was awesome to talk to you tonight, man, and we will definitely be in touch with you very soon.
Oh, anytime, bro. I appreciate it. Yo, thank you, fans, for listening, and, you got to listen to this show. This is the hottest shit right now. I'm telling you, catch up on every episode.
That's right. Well, thanks, man.
Well, anytime, man. Just send a check over to my house, man. Sign it.
There you go.
No, don't send checks. Don't send checks. Paul used to give me checks, and that shit used to bounce like a motherfucker. All right, man. I appreciate it. I had fun. Cash, yeah, absolutely, man. I had fun, guys. Hit me up whenever you want me on.
All right, man. Good night.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye.
That was definitely one of the most different type of interviews we've ever had, yet I don't think I remember laughing this much.
No, I don't know. I guess they have people that have different personalities and they combine, makes in for a great, mixture of stuff. It was really awesome. I mean, listening to
did you have Austin? I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off as many times as I did. That's why I brought him in the first place. That's why I asked him, when you listen to Jorge's interview reality track, which is awesome place to listen to different wrestlers and indie guys that are independent wrestling, or just wrestlers that are awesome, coming on their show. It's so awesome. And just when I heard the Angel interview, I'm like, we need to get this guy on. And I mean, I've watched some of his work in ECW beforehand, and I never really, I never really wanted to, not necessarily wanted, I never really got to the, wanting to actually invite him to the show. I guess it hasn't came up, and just when I listened to the interview, I'm like, we need to get this guy on because he's really fun. And like you just heard, you can't see on a radio station podcast, whatever. So, I mean, like you just heard, it was pretty damn awesome. And I don't like to say damn. That really made me sad just to say that. I don't like to say. I guess for the particular guest we had on tonight, use damn. It sounds better that way.
Okay, well, let's do that just for time, since we're going extreme with Pipebomb Radio.
Hey, everything was more extreme, so even the language was extreme. I just asked Joey Styles.
It's okay for tonight. It's okay for tonight, but I mean, when we have one next week's guest who's also, in Wildcat Wrestling right now, we're talking about with Luke Hawks. We actually have on Wildcat Big Ramp Wade. Big Ramp is like manager of Wildcat. He's a commentator. He's a man. He's a guy that wears many hats. And they're going to be having their the Wildcat show on, I think it's 2 Sundays, maybe 3 Sundays from now. It's May something. It's for Grace King Auditorium in New Orleans for their new the latest Wildcat show, which is going to be awesome. It's going to have Homicide in it, who we were talking about about 15 minutes ago. Homicide's going to be there. He's also going to be offering a $20, just $20 to go to his seminar. And if you know how educated Homicide is in this business, you definitely should check that out if you're in the area. But if he knows a lot,
he would be an awesome guest to bring on too. Homicide would be awesome to bring on the show too.
I was actually thinking if there was if there ever needed a third member to oh my God, I can't remember their tag team name in TNA with Hernandez and Homicide. Dang it. What is the tag team name? I'm trying to remember the what is it called? Remember it's been years since they've been together. It was Homicide and Hernandez. The tag team. I'm trying to remember their name. Hold on.
When all else fails?
Let me see. I have this. Okay, yeah. Let's see. I remember I have to see. The
Latin American Exchange.
Latin American Exchange. I was going to say that. I thought it was something different.
LAX.
Yeah, Latin American Exchange. LAX. Yes, LAX. If they never needed a third member to that gang, Angel would have fit in perfectly. Like, really, if you think about it, he would have been the third member of this perfectly. They probably didn't need a third member, but if there would be, then he would definitely be a contender.
I think definitely their characters would have meshed well with guys like Conan or even Hector Guerrero when he was running with it too.
Hey, maybe a part of the LWO, the World Order. Remember them?
I do remember that, and some of the great characters that were in it. Eddie Guerrero, just to name one of them. Rey Mysterio, which honestly I think Rey's going to be winding it down here pretty soon.
I know, it's yeah, Rey Mysterio. He's one of my favorites.
I've been watching him since '97. And he's been wrestling since he was, he's been wrestling for over almost 25 years,
he's been
probably.
Wrestling since he was 17 years old. And even before that, they trained him. He was born and raised in California. No, he was born in, I think it was somewhere in
San
Mexico.
Diego? Or Mexico?
He was raised in San Diego. But he started wrestling when he was 14 years old. He started to get trained. Then he actually had his first match at 17 years old. And then he went to WCW, which is his first one. And then his years in WCW were phenomenal. Wrestling guys like Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, Halloween Havoc. There's so many different things that he's done in his career that makes him one of the all-time greats. And without a doubt, Hall of Famer. And he's
one of the most mismatched matches I'd ever seen him ever really in WWE put him in. I mean, he took it like a champ, but my God, the beating he took. Every time I think about it, was when his matches with Big Show, and then he was strapped into that the gurney, and Big Show just picked it up and just whacked him with him on it against the pole. Oh my God, this dude, and he was strapped to it, and that was just scary. I remember.
You know what Rey Mysterio does? One of his moves that always freaks me out when he does it. He goes and he bounces himself off of the ring rope, and he slides under the ropes onto the guy who's laying outside on the floor, and he just basically just takes a dive and just goes. He's so fast, and even I think he's 40-something years old, maybe 40, 43 at the highest. I don't know his exact age, but what he does at his age is phenomenal still, and I just don't know why WWE isn't kind of giving him his due with maybe having a farewell tour, which should be happening in the future if all goes out well for Ray. I mean, I think any time to do it is right now, and I don't know who would be the guy to have that last match with him, and maybe the only person on the roster that would if it's Sin Cara for one guy. I mean, I don't know who else would be the proper way to end it in the Austin fashion before.
Well, considering that we won't actually be on the air when this actually happens, I wanted to take a moment to plug the one of our guests is being part of, and that is the River City Sports Festival. That it's going to be with Sonny Ono, Ernest Miller, also one of our former guests being Dan the Beast Severn, Garrett Bischoff, one of the Nitro Girls, Gorgeous George, just to name a few. Definitely, if you're in the Iowa area, Mason City, Iowa, you definitely want to check out the River City Sports Festival. If you don't know how to find it, come on to our Pipebomb Radio page, pipebombradio.weebly.com. Click on the link, and it'll take you right to where you want to go. Or you can follow Sonny on Facebook. Just had to throw that out there because it's actually coming up this week. And we would be on the air next Tuesday, and it would have already happened. So might as well give him a plug now. But I thought that was I really would have been nice, and I'm glad we were able to get Dan on and Sonny as well. I would have loved to have gotten Ernest or even Garrett Bischoff. Not sure is Garrett still working with TNA?
No, I don't think he is right now. I think I think he is. I think he has 2 months left to his contract though. But then he's out.
I know that. I know obviously Eric's pretty much all but retired, at least from wrestling now. If he ever goes back.
Eric's very smart. He has his own, I don't know if you ever watched some other shows on Spike, but he runs with this guy named Hervey and Bischoff.
Jason Hervey. For those who watched the Wonder Years during my generation or even now in reruns, yes, Jason Hervey, he's definitely a kid actor who got to propel himself into other avenues, and they created their own company, Bischoff Hervey Entertainment.
Yeah, I remember he was actually when he was really young. I don't know if you remember watching. I think it was Clash of the Champions. He was one of the judges for the Ric Flair and Ric Flair and
Sting. I do remember that.
No, or maybe Ric Flair and Steamboat. It's one of the two. And he was actually.
And for all you older fans like me, and this is going into a movie genre, he was also in that movie, The Monster Squad. If you don't know the name, you're too young. You weren't around. But I encourage you. It was such a bubblegum type, crazy kid horror type movie. He was a part of it, and you'll remember hearing this saying. And if you're listening still, George, tonight, you might remember it. Wolfman's got nards. If you don't remember, you have to watch a movie. If you don't know what I'm talking about, which I think Austin is kind of scratching his head thinking, what the hell is this guy talking about? Okay, well.
Trust me, Felix pulls out all these crazy quotes at the end. He's always keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for stuff. And that's and I figured this out actually on this past Christmas. I woke up the morning of Christmas and anticipating what Santa Claus has to bring for me. No, and I was actually watching what is it called, the Saved by the Bell, and I heard in the distance. I wasn't even paying attention, and I heard in the distance oh my God! I paused in where I was standing. I'm like, that's what Felix says at the end of every single show. Now it's the realization, it's an epiphany. That's what you get.
Casey Kasem is definitely a legend and an icon in the radio industry, and who better to mold my end phrase, end catchphrase, whatever you want to call it, than after him. You know, he did Casey's Top 40. Like I said, going back to my youth, anybody who remembers that, watching, either listening in the 80s or the 90s. But, yeah, Austin, you'd be too young to remember. But nonetheless, you would know that obviously he did the voice of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, too.
And I keep on saying, I think that the unique satisfaction, you know, of this entire show is because you have a person that's you, that's, I guess, you know, I don't know when you actually started watching wrestling, I'm guessing in the late 1980s. But, with me, I really take pride in being able to hang with everybody that comes on here because I can. And I've been in love
with wrestling. You probably kick my butt. I'm not going to lie. You more than likely will kick my butt. When it comes to some of the different genres, say like for television, for movies, for music, I got you beat. Mm-hmm. But then again, you may even like some of the stuff I like. Hell, I don't know. You seem to have an old soul for a young man.
Absolutely, I hate teenagers. Well, I hate anybody right now this age. All this technology stuff. Even though I think it's a lot of helpful. I was actually watching this video earlier. It's basically saying, I mean, look, all the stuff you're missing out on when you're looking down on your phone. Like there was a storyline. I'm gonna send the video later, and if anybody wants to watch it, I'll try. I guess I'll post it on the Pipebomb page. I don't know if it would be appropriate though. About this guy who actually was looking at his phone, and there's two different scenarios that shows what happened if he was looking at his phone, which the scenario led where he was actually married and grew old with his wife, and then he was looking at his phone, and his wife passed, his potential wife, and he didn't look up to help her. So if he was looking at his phone, so I mean it was. I don't know, all this technology stuff, it's crazy. Even though it's probably helpful in some cases, I'm not a huge fan of it. Yeah, I think we're too addicted to it. Which is another story. I can go on that like for hours.
Did you just say the never-ending story?
I
thought I heard you say just towards the end of what you just said, the never-ending story.
No, I think everybody's addicted to it, and so I can go on for hours about just people and technology.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misheard your last comment. I thought you were making reference to an actual movie that was out many, God, it was out 30 years ago. Wow.
I'm not talking about movies now, but I mean...
Hey, you never know what could be talked about on Pipebomb Radio. We talk about, the majority of the time is wrestling, but hey, we can talk about everything. Why not?
Cats, dogs, Kool-Aid. We talk about that in Paul London. Well, we talk about a lot of stuff in Paul London's interview. That was an interview in itself. Jesus Christ. If somebody was listening to that...
I hope we can get him back. That's something I definitely would love to do, is get him back on. And hey, if we can't just get him, let's get him and Jack back on.
Well, not only him, but one guest I want to bring back on more than anybody right now is Ken Doane. And if anybody, and I think he's one of my favorite stories in wrestling ever, is Ken Doane, former member of the Spirit Squad. It's Kenny, and he has probably one of the most extraordinary stories of professional wrestling I've ever heard.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, getting as young as he was when he was like 15 when he got a WWE contract. How crazy is that?
And if you haven't heard our interview with Ken when we had him on this past February, I recommend you check him out. Check out our archives or check out our YouTube page and listen to it in its entirety. It was a fun interview, and we are definitely still working out the details, the last little bits and nooks and crannies, let's just say, of finalizing a part 2, hopefully sooner than later. But what we have in store, if it all works out, I will say this. We have something pretty big in store planned for June. Not going to say when, not going to say who. If all the stars line up and it happens and it's meant to be, it'll probably be, without a doubt, the biggest guest we've ever had on Pipebomb Radio. And that's saying something, at least for 2014, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all I'll say about that.
And, I mean, if we get this guy on, it's going to be, oh, my God, I can't even explain. I don't even want to talk about it. It's going to be that big. I don't want to give anything away because once it does happen, and it will happen, it's going to be crazy. I mean, it's going to be insane and one of the best interviews you've probably ever heard in your life. And then it hasn't even happened yet. That's how much of anticipation I have for this.
Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. And with that, we are going to go ahead and call it a close for tonight.
Finally.
Thanks to all of our callers that called in tonight. Thank you, Angel, for hanging with us and having one of the most craziest sense of humors I've ever really had on the show. But I enjoyed myself. I don't think I ever stopped laughing. Tune in to the show next Tuesday night as we bring in another Wildcat performer, but a man who, as Austin said, wears many hats on the, as far as what he does in his career. Big Ramp. I hope I said that right. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Big Ram. He's actually a guy that I had a conversation with Paul Heyman, above all people, at WrestleMania Access. And it's so crazy. I actually want to bring up that clip next week, and we're going to play it on the show.
Cool.
And it's really interesting, yeah.
That's awesome. Yes, of course, definitely. That'll be much more interesting to hear his thoughts about it after he's already done it. But definitely catch a show next Tuesday night. Until then, this is Felix
let me
say
it. Let me say it.
Let me just get to the right down to it. This is Felix and Austin for Pipebomb Radio saying,
keep your shoes
that's where you were supposed to come in.
On the ground. Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. Say like Mean Gene because he's a good guy.
You totally killed it, bud. But that was a good try. Good night, everybody. Good night, Austin.
Good night.